Good day. This is ET coming to you from sunny Australia. I would like to explain today a little bit about the psychology central banks have been playing with within corporate politics, so we understand better things how they are, not how they're told by the media or by how we imagine they are. When corporate systems encroached into democracy and central banks removed monetary policy from politicians, what was the idea that caused the plan? What were they thinking? The bad math pathology politics have become trapped into, following along with all the subterfuge that pretends to be policy and isn't, is all part of the plan by central banks, who would well know the weakness within societies must cause an adaptation within culture towards a greater parochialism, and generated through various false flags dressed as leftist or socialist policies, a spread of reliance upon fiscal distribution rather than actual capitalist economics to gain wealth. This has distorted not only share markets to massively increase profits falsely and bonuses by CEOs and salaries. Those who have been observing this have become aware of something extremely amiss within the economic theory. The economic theory that should run societies is now dead and killed off between the mixture of central banks understanding how evolution works and how weak parochial politicians are, and how they would add to the weakness and add weakness to their circles, and using the fiat system to distribute money to themselves would inflate their own wealth at the cost of the rest of society. By creating asset rental inflation, which is so expensive, the old productive economy, the actual capitalist system, cannot longer keep it going. What is called capitalism is no longer capitalism, because capitalism is about, when it used to be 19th century capitalism, when Marx first wrote his thesis, was about people investing, taking a risk, and then having to work for some time to gain a profit. That's why they pushed everyone so hard, and it was a bit hard for workers, but everyone was at a risk. Now all it is the bankers and all the financiers and everyone else gets their money first before they take any risk with other people's money or with the economy, and therefore they don't give a damn. There is no responsibility towards the economy, and therefore they're causing the economy to decline within the West and within the financial systems of the world as a whole. Simply put, no one learned from the fact that Japanese jumped into asset price inflation and rental inflation and stagnated their economy 30 years ago. No one learned from that very, very simple lesson. If you understand evolution really, really well, then you know that how human beings will react one way or the other if you put out a stimulus into the environment, into the economic environment, and all humans live through an economic environment. And they distributed the idea that about equality, when equality is meaningless within nature. No two mammals and no two people, individuals, unless they're ants, are equal. No two lions are equal, no two cows are equal, no two humans are equal. The only way that humans can be equal is if they take equal responsibility for their own behaviour. And it's only by then doing that becomes more money to distribute among society. Our behaviour means if we're greedy, well, we're no longer acting responsibly. If we want wealth without earning it, we're no longer acting responsibly. meaning what it means is all those people who demand equality, who don't actually work for a living, want something they've never earned, and therefore they don't want equality. They don't want to be treated like an elite at the expense of those people who are actually working for a living in factories and fields and whatever. The people who don't work, who demand equal distribution to them, are robbing the workers and the actual capitalists. Because the people working in factories and fields are actually working with real risk capital. It's a risk to have a farm within nature. It's a risk to have a factory within global competition. The people who want distribution and then demand more money is distributed to the poor in Africa and places like that are actually defeating their own purpose. And with all the dementia, all the illnesses, all the diabetes people are getting, there can be less and less finance to distribute amongst society and amongst the world. Because it costs so much to keep the sick alive and well, there's far less money to be distributed. And everyone wants to blame the health system or the system, but it is down to each other and each individual, and central banks, who are very, very wise and very intelligent people, know this, and it's a shame they didn't learn to think maybe we need another system. Are they devious? We don't quite know, because I've never spoken to them. But society is weak, and blaming central banks or blaming politicians when you go along with the bullshit that is spun, then you have to look upon yourself and how responsible you are for your own particular situation and how you feel about things in general. Central banks have used the weakness in politicians, whether it's parochial weakness from religious weakness or from schools or whatever, and that has allowed a fiat system to distribute money to the clique and the elite at the expense of the capitalist economy, and therefore capitalism as a force is dead, and all economic theory is over and out of date. Thank you. This is E.T. reporting from Australia.